So, KB, first off, welcome back to the show. I want you to just kind of, before Brock jumps into his questions, because I know he's going to, and he's got some stuff he wants to ask you. But I want you to just kind of take a second to talk about your experience with Brock when you were in college and your relationship now with him and how it's impacted your life. Please take as long as you need.
Yeah, I first met Brock through an internship program that the Michigan State football team had put together in partnership with the selling team at Keller Williams. And the initial conversation, it was a room of maybe 15, 20 guys, and Brock was just up front, kind of taking us through what the internship would be like and things like that. And then the guys who were serious about it had to go through an interview process. So we went through the interview process, and I think he may have hired, four or five guys on for that internship program. And then through that internship program, you spent a lot of time riding around with different agents and getting to know each other and stuff like that. And, me and Brock connected. And then even after the internship program wrapped up, we stayed in contact with each other. And I went back up and hung out with him and some of his buddies at a tailgate a few years ago, and just always stayed in contact and, continued to grow and nurture that relationship. And he's been a great resource, a great friend. One time I was, thinking about getting my real estate license, and he connected me with a lot of people here in Charlotte whom I'm still in, contact with today about different various things. And I just really appreciate him, and glad I met him.
How do you, first, I know, I want to get your reaction to that, Brock, and then I know you have some questions for KB, but what's your reaction to when you hear stuff like that?
It makes me feel good because I care a lot about our interns and about my teammates, and I want to bring value, to all the relationships. And so, I mean, the relationship means as much to me as it does KB. I enjoy seeing his success. It's great to see young people, thrive in life, and I respect, even from the first interview we ever had, and we did a deep dive on his growing up in the logging industry, and I knew how hard of a worker he was. I knew he had bet on himself a bunch of times, and I just when he told me I'm going to make it in the NFL, you know, yeah, I mean, I really it kind of took me by surprise. I didn't, but he's made it, right? He's paid the price and a little bit more every step of the way, and there's nothing more rewarding in life than to see people that are important to you really crushing it, right? And I love it. It makes me so happy to see his success, and I mean, I'm ecstatic for him, frankly.
Just gave us those four phases of your career and how you get started here, KB, and it's very interesting to me. Even Brock was saying earlier that when he was watching you on television last fall, that you've gotten a lot bigger. Brock, you want to take this and kind of we'll talk about the conditioning because I just want to listen to you guys talk about conditioning and I'll add in my own little thing here. But do you have questions for him on his conditioning and all that kind of stuff, or KB can just jump right into it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's KB's like pretty jacked now. I mean, he's a big guy even back when he was here at Michigan State, but he's noticeably bigger. I would love to know your how that happens.
Yeah, man, I think it just a little bit of it is natural, just over time of constantly working out and eating the right things, and then you just naturally get bigger. And then sometimes you just gotta try to tone it back a little bit because you might get a little bit too big.
are you
Um,
talking about the food? Or are you talking about the exercise and the fitness?
Well, everything all together, the conditioning, the weightlifting, plus the food and the meal plans, it kind of all goes into gaining weight or losing weight. So you kind of got to feel it out and play with it. They give a lot of guys a lot of leeway in terms of like how do you feel when you play at this weight versus this weight? So it's kind of some leeway there if you want to gain or lose. So, and I'm kind of in that losing phase right now. I think I weigh like 215, trying to get down to maybe 205 before the season starts. So, trying to shed about a pound and a half, 2 pounds a month. So I'll be ready
Perfect.
for the season.
how does it protect you for your career? I mean, having the extra mass, are you faster?
I mean, I don't think it directly correlates with speed, but it definitely correlates with like, soft tissue injuries and things like that. You don't want to have too low of a body fat percentage just from all the contact and everything that the body endures during the season. So it's a balance with the fat percentage to lean body mass. You kind of want to find that sweet spot to protect yourself in terms of like soft tissue, hamstrings, shoulder injuries, and stuff like that.
Okay, so before we jump into the business side of things, how much time, just so people know, how much time do you put into the gym during the off season for your workouts? Do you put in 2 hours? Is it two
Uh,
sessions?
it's about, January is pretty relaxed. You just let the body recover. And then February, you start back moving around, maybe some yoga, some boxing, stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
couple times a week. And then March, it really starts to pick up. So you get back on like a program. So I train 6 days a week, twice a day, lift, run, and then I'll usually try to stretch in the evenings. So
So
I
you
say
have three, so
probably
basically three sessions.
three, yeah, 3 sessions a day, yeah, if you look at it that way.
How do you like that, Brock? I mean, three
That's better
sessions a
than
day.
my 45 minutes in the morning. I'll say that.
And we talked about that a little bit in the first episode. You're in the lumber business or trucking business or something like that, don't you? Aren't you, KB?
Yeah, so we're a logistics company that focuses on hauling timber to local mills here in South Carolina. We work directly hand in hand with my aunt and uncle, whose company is called Taylor Logging, and they actually go out on the land and cut down the trees and load them onto the trucks. So we're just a piece of a very large operation. And this is our first year in business, got everything set up over the past, I'd say, 3 years of just, game planning and getting everything, the foundation and everything set up the right way. So it's nice to finally start making some money.
So explain the Taylor logging now. Do they own the property that they go get the trees from and then they buy how does that work in the lumber? But I have no idea how this works. And if you
Yeah.
were to, like, okay, say you're in the real estate and you wanted to go to Brock and you wanted to get a piece of property
Yeah.
and you wanted to lumber it's full of wood, it's full of woods, full of trees. I mean,
Yeah.
how does that work?
I mean, it's kind of like real estate. So what happens is my uncle works hand in hand with a wood dealer or a broker, and they work hand in hand with the landowner. So there's three people at the top. It's the landowner, the broker, and then the contractor or logging crew. And then the broker negotiates a price between the landowner and the logging crew. And then my uncle, once they agree on a price, my uncle will go on and clear off the land. And then they'll hire us to haul the timber off the land to the mills. And then from there, the landowner retains ownership of the land. The broker basically just buys the rights to the wood.
Do you hire someone specifically as your trainer, or does your wife do that for you, or do they assign someone to you for your training? How does that work in the off season?
Yeah, a lot of guys have their own personal trainers. So I work with a guy named Derek Spees out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I was introduced to him through one of my former coaches, and so I work with him pretty much from January up until August or September, whenever preseason starts and stuff like that. So I work with him 6 days a week.
Have you worked with him for some time now, several
Yeah,
years
this
while
is
you've been
our
a
this is
pro?
our second year working together.
So he must be good.
Yeah, yeah, pretty good. He's an Olympic trainer. He trains China's speed skating team. So he's the strength
Wow.
and conditioning coach for their speed skating team. So he just returned from Italy this February where the Winter Games were.
How important, now I'm going into the personal training things and myself as being a personal trainer, how important do you think it is for that relationship with a personal trainer to get your results? Is it very important or is it not that important?
I think it's pretty important I think it's important for me to work with a personal trainer for the simple fact of, he uses science and you kind of get mental coaching with it as well.
Yep.
So we don't train how we train, as we would if I was inside the Titans, like when we go back for OTAs. We do things that are more catered to balancing out the body and making sure the small muscles are firing correctly and stuff like that. So it's fairly important.
What about on the nutritional side of things? Now we talked a little, not a lot about the physical side of things, but on the nutritional side of things in the off season and then in the regular season, how does that work?
I mean, the closer we get to training camp, they kind of give you a set weight margin where they think you should be between. So it might say like between 205 and 210. And if you go over, you'll get fined per pound and stuff like that. So it's a little more serious the closer you get to the season and then maintaining that throughout the season. But in the off season, you pretty much can kind of relax a little bit, kind of enjoy yourself, but always have the thought in your mind of, once we go back to work, you kind of need to dial it back in.
Talk about some of the tech that you guys utilize during the professional season. Is it pretty crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it's all pretty cool, not really relying on signals coming from the sideline anymore. So, the quarterback has a mic, a green dot, in his
Right.
helmet. They're calling in the plays, and then once the play clock gets to a certain point, they cut it off. So you can't talk and they can't hear. And then same thing for defense. So the Mike linebacker usually has the green dot for the defense. So they're calling in the defense and sending in reminders, and then it'll cut off at a certain point. So it's pretty unique. And then on the sideline, it's different from college. We call them surfaces, which is like an iPad,
Yep.
but it's only pictures. Where I think in college it might be the actual video of the play. In the NFL, you can only see pictures of the play and what happened. So
Oh, I'm very curious as to pick your brain on the playbook and learning the defensive scheme and the offensive scheme. Do you have to learn strictly defense? And is the playbook a lot more complicated than college, or is it pretty much the same?
yeah, playbooks are a lot more complicated, and this OTA period is when you kind of try to learn and perfect the defense. And so once you get to the season, you can kind of focus on what the opponent's offense is trying to do versus our defense. So,
What's the hardest thing with the playbook? Is it remembering all of this, all the sets and all of the movement, or what for you? What do you think is some of the most challenging thing? And how would you like to help young people understand it? You got to be on top of your game.
yeah, I think the most challenging part of learning the playbook is the adjustments. So you never really know what the opponent is going to come out and do. You kind of just gotta be prepared for everything. So on one play call, if the offense motions this guy, then the defense needs to go to this call. If they motion this guy, then the defense needs to get to this call. If they run this route at this yard line, then you need to do this. So it's kind of just making sure you're sharp enough to stay up on all the adjustments, the pre-motion communication, and making sure everybody is on the same page.
So for a athlete that wants to get to the highest level like you, would you encourage them to crack the books and be smart?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's kind of set to where if you're not in them books, you can't really even play. So
Mm.
there's no way around, developing your mind and having hobbies outside of football. Like I know a lot of guys play chess and video games and stuff like that, which I guess might keep your mind, alert and aware in certain situations and change the way you think about, be prepared for them to move this guy as if you were playing chess, be prepared for them to move this pawn or take the rook here or the queen here. So things like that just challenge you and develop your mind.
Now we're in the Sweet 16 too, so it's like in that sweet. Go ahead, Brock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess first and foremost, I mean, I think you're giving me too much credit, Tom, in terms of the influence, I've had with KB. He was really tough and really awesome, the moment that I was privileged to be able to have him join us. he's a special person. He's a really hard worker, probably one of the hardest workers I've ever known. And to be honest, I've never been around a young person that spoke so confidently about what they were going to go after in life. He's got a maturity that's way above, most people his age. So you're giving me too much credit. I'm honored and privileged to be friends with KB, and just glad to see where he's headed. That's it.
That's so much fun talking to those guys. I swear to God, it's like, God, seeing the young people progress and get better is just so much fun. It's so rewarding. Intrinsically to me, it means a lot. It really, really does. Until next time, everybody, that was Winning Time. I'd like to get a hold of that Derek Spees guy, that trainer. He sounds like something else. I got to look him up. Brock Fletcher, Kendell Brooks. It's the Go Green time, and we're all about it. Until next time, everybody, I'm Papa Tom. And you've been listening, watching, doing the whole thing with the Tom Matt Show. Thank you so much for subscribing, doing all that, and leave us comments. If you got guest suggestions, questions, please send them out. I'm always happy to let you be part of our show, because our show is your show. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll talk to you next time. Peace out. Love y'all. Go Green.